It's COFY time. Coffee. Yeah, it's COFY time.
And count me in for the next 55 years.
Count me in.
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 Count me in for the next 55 years.
Count me in, count me in.
Hey, what's up, Coffee? Hey, have you ever wondered, was Pastor Ken have insecurities? How did he grow up when he was young? Did he ever make mistakes? You know, like all kind of those questions. Well, today, as a matter of fact, in the coming weeks, we got an awesome interview for you lined up. And who needs that, folks, when we have Ken Talks? Come on, somebody. So right now, Pastor Esther, she's interviewing Pastor Ken. It was an awesome interview. So check this out. Everything you wanted to know about Pastor Ken and what he thinks about us. Check this out.
Hey, Coffee. I am so excited because today we're here with Pastor Ken. And thank you so much for taking the time and answering some tough questions.
Oh, well, thank you for inviting me on.
Yes. And first of all, happy anniversary to us and to you.
That's right, 55 years. It's hard to believe,
Yes,
Esther.
And we are so grateful, even though we're kind of like the newbies here, but I feel like I've just, I've been part for this for 55 years. And we have a new slogan with Coffee, and that is Count Me In. So count us in, Pastor.
Oh, well, we sure love you and Yus and the whole family, and we're so grateful for the tremendous job that you're doing, the people that you are. You guys are the real deal, and it's just been so great to have you on the team. You took that big step of faith,
Yes.
to move from Europe over here to San Jose, California,
Yes.
and
with 10 suitcases.
that's right. Yeah.
And look what the Lord has done.
Look what the Lord has done.
Oh.
So we're just delighted to
Thank
have you on the
you.
team, and so excited to see what's happening in the youth.
Yes, greater things ahead,
That's
Coffee.
right.
So are we ready for some questions?
Well, sure. We'll
right.
give it a go.
Yes. So we're going to do a few fun questions first because we want to know. So first of all, we kind of know, but this one we want to know why. A dog or a cat?
A dog.
Why?
I have trauma from a bad cat experience when I was a kid. We had a cat that was the meanest cat you can imagine. If the door opened at night, Kurt and we stayed in the same room. We would hide under the covers because if that cat saw you in the dark, if you moved, he would attack you.
My goodness.
And so I'm still, it's like PTSD. I'm
have
still
like a
trying to get
trauma.
over it. Yeah.
I totally get
So
it.
I'm all in on dogs.
Yeah, dogs it is. So, okay, the perfect romantic date with your wife or a fun family night, grandkids, mother-in-law, everyone, aunties, uncles.
Oh, I've got to say a romantic date with my wife, because if I don't, I'll be out in the doghouse. So I'm going with romantic night with my wife.
Good thing you love dogs, but you rather go out with your
That's
wife. I
right.
get it, yeah. So, Italian or Chinese food?
Oh, I love them both. But if I had to eat one meal or the rest of my life, it would be pasta. So I love
nice.
Italian.
Yeah, good. I like that too. Well, 49ers or the Raiders?
Oh, well, actually, I'm not a 49er hater. I like the 49ers. I was a big Joe Montana fan. But
You just
it's
gained a few extra fans?
yeah. But I'm Raider Nation all the way. The first game I saw was back in 1970. And Joe Namath was the quarterback for the Jets at the time. They had just won the Super Bowl, and they were playing the Raiders, and that was the first Raider game I had seen. And so it's been Raider Nation ever since.
Nice. All right. Well, we do soccer in Holland, so I'm trying to get in your culture and Hopefully it will be Raiders. Raider Nation.
Yeah, soccer's the real football, right?
Exactly.
That's exactly. Yeah, that's
there we
right.
go.
Yeah.
Thank you. Once and
Yeah.
for all explained.
Look at, I'm an international pastor. Look at this.
Yes.
All right.
That's why we love you. All right. So, would you rather go skiing or would you go to the beach?
Oh,
One day.
yeah, one day. I love the beach. I really do. I love the ocean. Love the beach. I like to ski,
Yeah.
and but I'd lean toward the beach. Love the ocean.
Nice. Good. Shark cage diving or bungee jumping?
That's shark cage diving. Yeah, I would do that.
Really?
Yeah, I've had the chance to actually do that with a great white shark in a great white shark infested waters, and got in the shark cage with me and Lauren down in South Africa. And I'm telling you, that was a total rush. And it was seeing the animals in their own environment like that. It was exhilarating.
I know someone is getting excited. Juicy.
Yeah.
love that
Plus,
stuff.
I have a thing about heights. Even though I've done the skydiving, I'm not real good when it comes to heights. So the bungee jumping thing would be, that's.
You wouldn't tell because you were kind of like smiling.
Yeah,
on
well, yeah.
On the cover. Of
Well,
your
it
book.
was once you got out of the plane, it was great. It's just getting out of the plane. Yeah.
I know.
Oh.
Anyway, salute. All you can eat for a week or a personal trainer for a week?
Oh boy.
And it's the end of the year, so which one?
It's the end of the
Which
year. Oh,
one?
I'd go all you can eat. I like
Yes,
food too
yes.
much. Yeah.
So what was it again? Italian food, right?
It'd
Pasta
be
for a
Italian,
week.
but if it was all you could eat, I'd mix it up. I'd have Italian, Mexican, Chinese, every kind of food.
Everything.
Yeah, I like
Nice.
every kind of food except peanut butter.
Really?
I have never liked peanut butter since I was a kid. But everything else, put it in front of me and I'll give it a go. Yeah.
Oh, you would say peanut butter is like a real American thing, like your peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, which we don't get in Europe.
Yeah.
Why do they do that? But okay.
I know.
You don't get it
When I
either.
was a kid, I would have a jelly sandwich.
Just jelly.
Just jelly.
Okay.
So I was the oddball. Yeah.
Good. A few more. Would you live a day in history? Any time, medieval or whatever, or would the Jesus days, or would you live a day in the future? Which one?
Wow, that's a good question. That's a good question.
I'm
I
so
don't
curious.
know. Well, if it was the day Jesus was returning, I would choose that
Oh,
day.
of course.
If it was that day in the future,
Yeah.
I'll sign up for that.
Okay.
If it was a day in the past, other than the time of Jesus,
Yes.
I'd like to live at the time of C.S. Lewis. He's been a big hero of mine, so
Yeah.
I'd love to have lived in England during his time and got a chance to meet him. So.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so Pastor Kenny, your dad, he preached a powerful, visionary sermon on that was the 35th anniversary, right?
Right, 20
Yeah.
years ago.
So 20 years
Yeah.
ago. So that is like, he actually spoke that to us.
Yeah.
Like the middle schoolers, the high schoolers, the young adults. And we've seen many of these visions come to pass.
That's right.
And but he also mentioned with such conviction to never say never, never believe in never.
That's right.
And he saw his vision come to pass. So if you would like three things to the youth, like never say never to.
Never say never to God. When God is leading and directing you somewhere, know that God has your good interest
Yeah.
at heart.
Yeah.
Sometimes we forget that God's will is good and pleasing and perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it's described. And so never say never to God and His will and the dream that He has for your life. Never say never to that. Never say
Anything is
never.
possible, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Never say never to something outside your comfort zone.
Ooh.
That's how we grow. That's how is when God stretches us.
Yeah.
And so never say never to something outside your comfort zone.
Nice.
And never say never to an opportunity. When God opens the door, even if it's a small opportunity, step into that opportunity and make the most of where it's at. Sometimes we're waiting for this out here instead of making the most of the opportunity that we have in front of us.
Yeah.
And Jesus said, if you're faithful with a few things, then I'll make you ruler over many things. So never say never to an opportunity, even if it seems small, to start out with.
Nice. What is the greatest lesson you have learned in your life? I know there's so many in our Christian walk, but like when you look at our youth, middle schoolers, high schoolers, what was one of the greatest lessons you've learned?
I would say keep the main thing the main thing.
Okay.
It's so easy to get sidetracked on this issue or that issue, or get sidetracked over here or sidetracked over there. Keep the main thing the main thing. And that is that, my dad's favorite scripture was, in all things, put God first, and he will direct you.
Oh, yeah.
And he will crown your efforts with success.
Nice.
So if you always keep God first in everything that you're doing, it begins right there. God, we're putting you first, and we want what you want. The other things have a way of taking care of themselves when you put God first.
Yeah, kind of like seek ye first the kingdom
Exactly.
of God,
Yeah,
and
it's
all the rest.
yeah, all the rest will it'll follow after you. It's follow the shepherd. Put the shepherd first, and goodness and mercy. You don't have to chase after it.
Yeah.
It'll chase after you.
Yeah.
So it all depends on, are you keeping the main thing, and that is putting God first. Loving the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength.
Yes. So that's one of the greatest lessons you've learned in life. And what are you learning now? What is, especially like in quarantine, what have you learned in quarantine
Oh, boy.
during this season?
I'm learning to have a whole new level of faith. Faith isn't static, right? It's funny, you feel like you have faith, but this year I've been challenged to have greater faith than I've ever had before. Month by month, the kind of faith where every month you've faced a great challenge, and yet every month you've seen a great miracle. And so it's really been a time of stretching my faith. It's been a time of surrendering control. Yeah. We all like to have certain things, we like to control. Yeah. In this environment, there's so much uncertainty. There's so much you can't control. And so just relinquishing control to God. Control what I can, but things I can't control, just surrendering that to God. So those are two things that have really been, I've really been learning. Not always getting it right, but God is taking me deeper and further in that.
So you never outlearn, right, Pastor?
Oh.
Like, we're thinking we're coffee, we gotta learn, but you never outlearn.
You never stop. Someone told me one time, they said, leaders are learners and never stop learning. And I think that the day you stop learning is the day, like my dad said, the day you stop dreaming is the day you start dying.
Yeah.
The day you stop learning is the day you start dying also. Always be a learner, and so that's why, even though I'm 61 and been serving God, as I don't even remember a time where I didn't serve God. I mean, there were plenty of times I wasn't totally locked in, but all these times, I'm still learning.
Yeah.
Esther, I'm still learning about God.
And so while you were learning, you probably made mistakes and failures. And so my next question is, how has failure, though? I mean, we all fail, but how can failure shape your life?
I think what you do with failure, one thing I've learned about failure, there's several things, but I think what you do with failure, I think realizing that everybody is going to fail. Okay?
That's good.
At some point or another, I don't care how great you are.
Nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
And it's not that you're trying to fail, but at some point, everybody's going to fail. And I think knowing how to handle failure is one of the most important things you can learn. Because failure is the most common human experience we all have. And so what do you do with that failure? And so the failure can either paralyze you. Say you try something and it doesn't work out. And you decide, well, I'm never going to try anything ever again.
Like their studies. Or
Like their studies.
graduation, or-
You try a class
Yeah.
and you fail it. And you think, you know what? I'm never taking another class again. You know? And we let failure then become this we let it become final in our lives. It has the final word on us. So instead of viewing failure as just another stepping stone toward future success, it's just a part of the process of me growing and learning and becoming more successful and where God wants me to be. If I know that failure is not final, it doesn't have the final word on me unless I give it to it, you know. But I know that God can redeem even my failures, and I can learn and grow from them and can come through them stronger than ever. You know, it's funny how Jesus, he knew Peter was going to fail him. In just a few hours, Peter's going to deny him 3 times. Jesus knows that.
Yeah.
Even though Peter says, I'll never do that, Jesus says, you are going to do that. But here's what I'm praying. He knows he's going to experience failure, but he prays that his faith would not fail.
It's good.
And that when he comes back, he'll be able to strengthen his brothers. See, failure is going to happen to you, but don't let your faith fail. Because your faith can enable you to bounce back from that failure.
Nice.
And then you bounce back and you're able to strengthen those around you and rise above your failure. You know, the righteous man fails 7 times, but every time he gets back up. So I think if we view failure as a crushing event in our life, and that it is going to define our lives, then first of all, we become afraid of ever trying anything because we don't want to have something crush us like that. But instead of we view failure as just another stepping stone on our way to success, then I think that becomes, so how you handle failure, I think, is the most important thing that shapes whether you become, you know, better as a result of it. Or if you don't learn from it, you just keep repeating it. So learn from it. Learn the right lessons from it, though.
I love the fact that you say that everyone's going to fail. Because sometimes the pressure on youth could be so a lot. Like in the perfect world, everything looks perfect.
Yeah.
And, you know, but everyone is going to fail. And like big men in the Bible, women failed.
That's right. And nobody puts that on Facebook, right? So you look at everybody's Instagram and man, everybody's a rock star, right? But the reality is, look, man, all of us have times where we feel anxiety, where we're depressed, where we stumble over here or we mess up over there, or we try something and it doesn't work out. And so when you view that as, look, that's just a part of the human experience and a part of the journey, and that God is going to help us, first of all, it takes the pressure off of trying to live perfect. Try to live with excellence, but don't try to live perfect.
Yeah. We don't want that pressure.
The perfectionistic, so no, it's progress, not perfection. That matters.
Progress, not perfection. That matters. I think I have 1 or 2 more questions. Something for me. Who do you know that I should know? And eventually I'll introduce them to you.
I'll tell you what, I don't know what will... I think someone that you ought to know is Jim Caviezel. Jim Caviezel is an actor. He's played in lots of roles in the movies and on TV. And I've had the chance, God granted me grace. I said, Kurt calls me Forrest Gump because I end up being in the most unlikely places with the most unlikely people. And I'm just a regular guy like Forrest Gump. But Jim, of course, played the Jesus in the Passion of the Christ, and a person of interest. He was on TV, and he's been in more recent movies too. And Jim is a real. I've had the privilege of knowing him since the mid 2000s and maintaining a friendship since then. And Jim's the real deal. He lives in Hollywood, which is not an easy place to live out your faith, like the Silicon Valley, or like your high school, or like the junior high. But he's a person who's sold out to Jesus, who lives authentically. You know, you don't find anything pretending about him. I mean, he's an actor, but he's not a pretender.
Oh, that's nice.
And he's very committed. And so he's a person of strong faith in a difficult environment. And what a testimony Jim is. And he's a great guy. He models, he lives his faith. He adopted 3 children from China.
Oh, wow.
All of them had brain tumors.
Oh, wow.
And his family, the way he's living with his family, he models what it looks like to be a follower of Jesus and to care about people and to be pro-life. And, so he's just, he's an awesome guy. And he's fun to hang with. We have but I hope that one day, Jim's been to the church a couple times. They're supposed to be making Mel Gibson and Jim together again, the resurrection.
It's so exciting.
And so maybe when that happens, perhaps, Jim, he's really busy, but maybe he could come back to the church and get a chance to.
Yes.
That would be awesome.
We'll meet him. And I think what stood out for me, what you said, because I hear you say, authentic a lot in a difficult world. And I think that is something that our youth, I don't know where we are in the end times, but we know we're feeling it, we're hearing it. So they're gonna live that too. How to be authentic in a world that does not really love or want God. Right.
And he's modeling how to do that. None of us are perfect. But he really is a testimony in that community. So it can be done.
We'll be following him on Instagram.
That's right. Yeah.
And then lastly, first of all, thank you so much. I think that was an awesome interview. I've learned a lot. Thank you for all your wisdom and, taking the time to talk to us and instill within us. We're so ready to take up the baton with patience and perseverance. I have patience, Lord, give me patience. But we're right there. We're right there. Count us in. So would you like to give us a final shout out for COFY? Whatever you like to say to give a closure to this.
Absolutely. Well, I just want to say again how much I love you, how great an honor it is for me to serve you as pastor. I can remember, I grew up in church. I was right where you're at. And I'm so proud of you. I know that in the Silicon Valley, going to church is not a regular thing. But you've lived counterculturally. You're the real revolutionaries. Because you haven't let the culture determine what you do and the way you live. And you've locked into God. God has a dream for your life. And living that dream out within the context of a church family, that's the most important last word I could give to you. I made a lot of mistakes growing up, and I made a lot of mistakes growing up. But the one thing that was constant in my life was I stayed connected to the church family. And by staying connected to the church family, boy, it was like a safety net. When you're connected to the church family and you fall, you have people around you that will help you to get back up. That's how you thrive. If you're building a fire, if a log gets separated from the rest of the logs, that log eventually burns out. But when it's there together with the rest of the wood,
Yeah.
boy, man, that fire,
Lit
it
up.
just, whoa. And so that's what I would say to you. In all the midst of the challenges, in all the good times and all the bad times, one of the main things the enemy will try to do is to keep you out of church and disconnected from the youth group. That's his strategy, because if he can isolate you, he can defeat you. So stay connected. Stay connected to these wonderful pastors that you have. They love you. We're here to serve you. And I'm going to do everything I can in the future to make sure I want to come alongside your dreams and help those dreams become a reality, because somebody came alongside of me, and I want to do the same for you. Thank you. I love you, and there are great days ahead.
Greater days ahead.
Amen.
That's it. It's a wrap. Thank you once again. We love you, Coffee.
Hey, good stuff, right? Wow, that was deep stuff, man. Thank you so much, Pastor Ken. And in the coming weeks, like we said, we have so much more content of wisdom and nuggets that he's given us as Coffee. Hey, don't forget this weekend, Cathedral is online, and then we are getting ready for the holidays. But next week, we're going to wrap up Future Shock. Are you ready, guys? Have a great week. We love you so much. Bye.
It's coffee time.